I ordered a goat meat and I'm chilling here in beautiful Grand Hotel. And the presidential palace is just behind me. There's a tomato salsa, peanut, pumpkin and fried nuts. 3 kinds of salsa and fried potatoes. No tak člověk si musí posedět na tom světě, příteli. Na zdraví, salut. Hej, když si neposedíš, tak to stojí za hovno, ten život. If you don't relax in life, it's not worth of it. You may say that people who are relaxing a lot are lazy people. But some of the studies find out actually that the people who look like the most lazy or doing nothing are smartest people ever. As much as you are intelligent, as much you are prone to boredom, It's like my mother. She always called me like, "What are you doing there? In whole days and hours, what do you do there? You have no work? What do you do there all hours?" Well, I'm thinking, mother, So yeah, it's proven that people who look like a board, I know that besides this, I'm very, modest person. That's the message of the video. But a non-egocentric, of course. But, besides that, when you're really highly intelligent person, and just allow me to join the club, I even have a numbers, but I will not tell it here because, I'm not such a IQ-dick, schmuck. But let's say I'm a highly intelligent person, according to some idiotic papers, which is totally useless, information, because don't you know that the connotation between intelligence and the money, the correlation between money and between how much you make of money, ability to become a rich. Let's say correlation between ability to become a rich and IQ is only 1.5%. Did you know this? So that's why you find a lot of intelligent people who are actually poor, and they thinking and they doing nothing. Look like they doing nothing. That's why you could find in 19th century and early of 20th century in this legendary pub or bar or cafe called Chat Noir, where there was served real absinthe with hallucinogen effects. You could find the elite of France and Paris, and they were all poor, my friend, all of them. You could find there you could find there Gauguin. Actually, Gauguin was not poor. He was a exception, right? No, sorry, it was Manet. Oh my god, Daniel, what a fucking mistake. Manet decided to, or it was Gauguin, shit. One of them decided to give up his career like a banker, and give it up, and then become a famous painter. I think it was Gauguin. Yes, it was Gauguin. And then one day they were, in Britain with the other schmuck. The fuck? Van Gogh? Yeah. They were in this small hut. And Van Gogh was very friendly, he was soft person, he was nice person, but Gauguin was despotic character. Gauguin was very despotic character. And Van Gogh was a nice person, he was sweet, he wants to have a friend in Gauguin, but Gauguin was, Gauguin just let it let it just he unhinged himself totally, emotionally, and he was very aggressive person. And after one argument of Gauguin with Van Gogh, Van Gogh cut his piece of his ear. A lot of idiot thinks that's a different way, but it was after they argued. But in Chat Noir you could find a Monet. You could find Monet. Monet was he was okay during his life, like financially he was. Yeah. You can find a lot of guys there. I forgot the name of one of the most impressive. I have to look it up. It was gentleman French who was lecturing a Sanskrit at age of 13 at Sorbonne. He had lessons of Sanskrit at Sorbonne in age of 13, like a teacher, like a professor. And he, several years ago, before Edison invented telegraph. He invented telegraph before Edison. And he was teaching Sanskrit at age of 13. But he died around, he was 30, 32, and he was able to drink up to 20 absinthe per day, and he drank himself to death. So just like Wallace come out with the evolutionary theory before this schmuck Darwin, and he gave him the credit, right? This gentleman come out with telegraph before Edison, but nobody heard about these people, and there were a lot of people like that. Some of them later on become famous, some of them are forgotten, and the problem of have a higher intelligence is the same problem like to have a low one. We have to have a special school. A lot of people are ashamed of high intelligence, and they pretending to be dumber, and more stupider. And if you don't have a right approach to these people since beginning, then there is a theory, fascinating one, and I think it's true, that actually intelligent people has less chances to succeed in life, because they always, when they make some plan, they start to risk on it, or they start to analyze it again and again and synthesize it, and they looking at the problem from different angles, and they starting to find the problems on the plan while it's just in theory. Okay, and that's why they perfectionists, and that's why they never make it happen. It's just in their head. They are great thinkers but bad doers. So yeah. Then the other thing is, they can come out with things very fast, but they cannot stay focused doing the stupid, repetitive job, right? So let's say you're highly intelligent, you come out with some application, you come out with something like Uber, but you have a tunnel vision like a genius. I met one genius in Toronto. First thing what I did, from the business viewpoint, I went to Toronto University, technical, and I started to talk to these people, these PhD doctors, and these students. And there was one student who said, look, you would like to see this? Nobody pay me attention. The people were autistic, they were studying technical sciences. But the guy was like, he was showing me something worth $1 billion, the idea, right? But nobody listened to him. So there was this guy, Babak, and he came out with invention, which he was able to, because the Canadians are crazy regarding classifying the garbage. So he came out with this scanner, which can scan according the mark, the chart, according the QR code on the materials, the different kinds of garbage. So you wanna throw the garbage in bin, but you don't know if it's organic, if it is this. So you just take the thing and you do like, and you know where to put it. But the problem was, a long time they couldn't resolve the problem because the materials or the the packaging or the rest of the thing, the garbage, was scrawled, so it was hard to read it, and yeah, so I don't know how he resolved it, but he made a lot of money, millions of dollars, yeah. So, and then there was this guy, his name was Babak, and he made $1 billion. Just he stolen the the Uber and he put it in Iran, and he just renamed it, and he just copied, you know. I don't know what's the name of it in Iran, but he just copied and he went there and tried to try to sue these people, or try to do it in Iran. So you wanna make money? Go to Iran, my friend. Go to places which are extreme, and you get a leverage. First, you need to have a leverage. I went to Philippines in 2012, and I find out the leverage. The loans were too high, the interest of the rates, and Europe, it was too old. They didn't know how to, the banks were not able to connect each other. I saw people coming with the bags, with the paper bags, and they were carrying a lot of cash, or they have a manager checks, but the banks were not connected, you see. So it's like you come to the country of your grandmother, but you are not grown in the country of your grandmother, right? Yeah. So you travel in time. Imagine you can fly 50 years back, and you can make some money on Wall Street. Find a country which is 50 years back. Yeah. And maybe Ecuador is one of these countries. You wanna make a real money? Go to Venezuela. Go to Madagascar. North Korea would be great, but we know it's very dangerous. So, yeah. So Babak had a tunnel vision. He told me how the geniuses works. They failing in other subjects, and they are not good. He was not good at mathematics, or he was not so exceptional in some different kinds of lessons. But Babak had a tunnel vision. So he was able, through some tunnel, look at the things, and he explained me, look, Daniel, geniuses are not like people thinking like they thinking complicated about the things. They think about things in complicated way. No, genius, an inventor, thinks in a very simple way, tunnel vision. They got a tunnel vision, they sort out all that crap, and then he told me the best inventions were actually copycatted, or it was two things which were put together, and they were so simple, so they were genius. Like the Uber, you just put together taxi and the fucking restaurant. You see, that's the tunnel vision. That's the way how the geniuses work. It's so fucking simple. You see. Of course, there are inventions like a fucking telephone. It's not so easy, right? But that's how Babak told me you have to think. So I come out with my own fucking application, but I won't tell you, of course. But Canada is country of applications, and don't forget that for 2-3K or 5K, you can get some guy who will write it in codes, and that's it. You can come out with application which can have just 100,000 of people users. If it has 10-15,000, you already got $1, $2, $3 million. It doesn't need to be Uber, right? You know how many crappy applications are on the market? Of course. That's why we are. That's why we are ceasing to exist. We are not a civil. We are. You know the difference between culture and civilization is that civilization keeps sustaining itself, and already get to some progress, right? And not moving far forward anymore, but just sustaining itself. Culture is still developing. Yeah? Ecuador is a developing country. There is a culture, but there is no civilization. In Canada, there is civilization. In US, in Europe, there is civilization. Culture countries and civilizations. You see? So you can see that this civilization is falling apart because one of the signs of the civilization is the fall mark or fall or sign of decaying civilization. One of the sign of decaying civilization which is jeopardized is that people don't understand anymore the inventions they have created. Okay? So once you don't know how the application works, I mean not literally like the people who invented it, but generally. So once the mankind don't understand the gadgets and inventions they're using, then we are fucked. You know, Ecuador is a great country. I want to make some little intermezzo here. But what really sucks is all these cockroaches and human beings who figure out that you are foreigner and they start to do like in these primitive countries. They did it in Dominican Republic. They start to like pretend they have something to do around you and they walk around. They talking too loud with themselves. You know, they like but this is great, you know. That's the sign of a culture country. Where schmuck like me, you schmuck, you white schmuck, you watching this in, I don't think so somebody watching it, but fuck it, I'm doing it for myself. I'm just, you know, in dialogue, keep, you know, sharpening my mind. But imagine that, thank you my friend, imagine that, hey idiot, imagine that people just, you know, that you watching this in Europe, okay? And imagine that you are white schmuck. You fly with your fucking white fucking face in third world countries, and just your capital is your white fucking face and your heritage from Europe or from America. You know, you can have an erotic capital, social capital, psychological capital, cultural capital. Then you can have a money capital, right? You don't have a money capital, don't worry about this. You can have a knowledge capital, culture capital. Now think it over. I met this woman who flew to Dubai. She was British, you know, white, blonde, quite good-looking MILF, we would say. And she went to Dubai and everybody was staring at her, you blonde and white. And she started a multi-million-dollar business where she was just, you know, giving manicure, pedicure with these aesthetic salons. And her face and her visage was on the billboards all around Dubai. Or it was Qatar, or I'm not sure now. Jo, tu Katar je, kde žije pan Jaroš. To je ta horší země, to byl Dubaj, A jenom protože, only because she was white and blonde, that's why she was able to succeed, because it was some commodity there. You know, and the Arabs were looking at her, look, I went to this famous esthetician salon with the white lady and with her blonde hair. You see? So, I don't mean she really sell her skin literally, but that's how I meant it. Is a different thing, you know. I meant it, you use your psychological capital, that you go somewhere and they look at you. When I arrived to Philippines, I had nothing, you know. I have like literally nothing. I just pay my ticket, that's it. And I have like $200-300 and I had no capital, nothing. But they and I have my grandfather's ring, you know, and I got my watch. You know, it was given to me, my future fucking ex-wife. Fuck you, right? And I was walking down the street of Cagayan de Oro, this primitive, forgotten town in Mindanao, in southern Mindanao, and people were looking at me and sir, are you Millionare, or are you DiCaprio, or no, I'm Matt Damon. Okay, can I have an autograph? Literally, people were taking pictures with me, and they assume I was a famous person or rich person. This, of course, won't happen to you in Europe, right? So I took advantage of it in Philippines. Because you remember, Jordan Belfort is a very immoral person, and some of his things are already outdated, his tricks, you know, manipulative, psychological, but still it's a sharp, it's a predator, and he got it in his DNA, and I don't think so you can land it things, all these bullshits like I can teach you how to be rich, how to manipulate people in good way. I think you got it in your DNA, you don't got it, you know, I don't believe it. You can into some extent learn, you know, but once you are not a predator, you are not a predator, you know. You're born to kill, you're born to get rich. You know, I went to Philippines, I knew I'll be rich. I knew it, I was not yet. But it was just a theory, you know, it was in my mind, but only what left, literally. I said to other people, only what left is to fill the 6-digit dollar numbers in my account, you know. And people like, no, it's only detail, right? How you do it? I already did it in my mind before, you know. Now I just need to materialize it. So I took advantage of this, and to finish the thought, Belfort has a great line. He says, "You wanna become rich? Act like a rich, and you become one." And this is really, really fake it until you make it, you know. And this secret is a public secret. Everybody knows this bullshit. This secret is a really helpful thing to do, and that's it, you know. So I went there. They assume I'm rich. It was even better, you know. I didn't need to like fake it. They did it for me. So I act like a rich, and then I become one. You know, some people look at the people and say, "This is the famous singer." No, you're doing the things until you convince people you are who you are. No. You convincing people that you are good actor until they believe you are good actor. You know. You're convincing people you are good businessman until people will believe you are good businessman. That's how it works, you know. Once people trust you and believe you, what you're telling them, you become the one who you're telling them you are. You see? But you are not. But then you are. You wanna be a motherfucker? This is the name of this program. You act like one, you tell people you motherfucker, you become one. Well, in this case, I think I was born motherfucker, you know. But I did some job, you know, to perfection it. So, jokes aside, you wanna be influential person? Act like a one. You wanna be person who got a you know, appearance of somebody who knows some very important information, or who is secretive, who is mysterious. Act like mysterious person, you become one. You wanna be the man who is wanted by every woman, you act like one. You wanna be womanizer, act like a womanizer, you become one. You wanna be successful seducer, act like a successful seducer, and you become one. It is easy as it is. Then the second thing, besides, you know, acting like the one who you wanna be, it doesn't need to be only rich. Like act like a rich, you become one. You know, act like a seducer, you become a seducer, right? The second thing is, so let's say first thing, you go to the countries where you have a leverage. With your white face to Philippines. Then act like one you wanna become one. And then third thing, which I admit is quite difficult, is that you need to have absolute confidence in what you're doing, and you cannot never ever give a single fuck what people think about you. And then the life is much easier, you know. So you have to be some kind of even crazy man. But remember, the ones who act like a fool are never fool. So remember, you have to totally bet your reputation on the zero in the roulette and just let it spin. So you have to really trust yourself. They're all cliche what I'm telling you, but they work. They work. But you have to connect them in the right timeline. Yes, and you have to be in the right place, in a right moment, in a right place. And then, if you're confident and charming person, the rest will come. You know, when people wanna get rich, they doing this basic mistake. I observed that they so much push and go after money. Imagine you wanna seduce some woman. In moment when you love bomb love her, or how Americans say it, you suffocate her with messages, chocolate bonbonnieres, and a lot of bullshit and flowers. Then what's her reaction if it's pretty woman, right? Let's say the money is pretty woman, 6-digit one, right? They are, right? Well, the thing is that it's a law of attraction. As much as you want something, it don't want you. And as much you don't want it, it wants you. So I'm sorry I used the it regarding the women. even me too, my friend. I'm a chauvinist, So that's what you gotta do. You cannot push money too much. Like a lot of people, I want money, I'll do everything, Into some extent it works. If they are rough and they go after it. But the way how much they make money, the way how they make it is very hard-working job, and it's limited. And with this dedication, you don't make more than hundreds thousands, or you can make more. But that's what I observed. The smarter people play the game in different way. They play it like they don't play it. Okay, so I realized once you relaxed, what you do to be relaxed. You go to massage, of course. And then once you relaxed, and when you just act like you don't want the money too much, you're not desperate, somehow the carriers of the money, the people, will come to you and say, who is this guy? He don't want my money, or he's not pushing it. Who is this guy? Because the money is nothing than people, currency of the power is money. And who is the carrier of the, money is just a mechanism how to get there. People, right? People who get a different money. So depends on your relationship with these people. They may share some money with you, some wealth. But a lot of people approaching rich people like, you know what? I have a great invention, and can I have your time? Either they really hate them, and they wanna be like them, and they have this hidden arrogancy, like, I want you, sir, to invest in my project, and you can see in their eyes like, yeah, I should be on your own place, or they just trying to outsmart you, and this is the really bad way how to be next to somebody who is rich. The second good thing is the better position or better strategy is you befriend rich people and you give them some services. You work for them and you become a loyal. Okay? Then, if you don't have a time for this, like to clean somebody's shoes or be his limo driver, which of some powerful man and being loyal, and I guarantee you, they will reward you because the loyalty is the commodity which is the most precious one in the world. After, I would say, even it's more valuable loyalty than information. So, if you don't want to go in this way, how you convince the people to give you the money? Well, you're really confident, and it's like to seduce a woman. You cannot look at her tits and ass. You have to look in her. You see, you have to look and you have to see her like a human being. A lot of people make mistake, that they go on a first date and they talk too much, like I'm great and I have so much money and I do this, and they wanna impress the lady. Now you're not a part of the game. You're invisible. The other most important thing, remember it: always kill your ego. Always. People cannot do this, and especially in America, I was really disappointed how people are not psychologically pragmatical. How much they get triggered. Me. You cannot insult me. You can talk about my mother, whatever. No, it's okay. I don't. If it makes money, it's okay. It's just the words. I don't give a shit. I don't exist. I'm not here. I'm talking professional business. I don't care. You fucking Hitler. Let's sit and talk. You fucking Kim Jong-un. Yeah, let's talk some business. You fucking muscular. Hey, what did you say? You murdered my family? It's okay. Let's talk some business. It's okay. You still have a blood on your hands. Yeah, you insulted my family. Let's talk some business. That's the other key. You have no idea how much the world is ruled by emotions. Like in high politicians, how much the emotions created the wars, for example, just because the statesmen or politicians didn't like each other. People underestimate the power of emotions. We are emotional beings. So if you know the game, you can as well play the people with emotions who are emotional, right? And nowadays, look at these times. Everybody is emotional. Everybody got a broken nerves, right? That's why the world coming down the hell. So, where we were. Okay, you have to look at the woman or the man who the rich guy who you want him to invest like a real human being. You have to be honest, or you have to fake it until you really believe in this, that you wanna marry this woman. I wanna marry you. I love you. You have to totally switch your brain so you believe your own lies. You have to be perfect liar, and you have to show a genuine interest in the human being. So I recommend you, instead of talking about yourself when you meet a beautiful, attractive woman and you wanna seduce her, just ask her something from her childhood, or tell her when she felt the worst in life and the best, with this timeline. What was her worst moment in life, or what was the best one? Try to look into her soul, you see, and then you catch her, you see. Then you look at what rich people, what is their problem? Usually they're very lonely. You see. So you can become the genuine, real friend, you see. And would your friend help you to give you some money on your project? Of course. Yeah. So again, the success is emotions. And with these things, you have to be born or not. If you person who is really extrovert and can befriend everybody, it's an asset. you know. So in Philippines, I befriend everybody, from the guards, the shoes cleaners, yeah, shoes cleaners, and yeah. Don't you forget, when you're falling down, who will catch you are normal people. When you're climbing on the staircase and in this skyscraper, right? So I guess that's what I wanted to tell you, my friend. Then people say, no, no, money is byproduct of what you're doing. Yes, that's true. But look at this guy who was coming with this telegraph or doing Sanskrit, teaching Sanskrit. Not all activity will give you money, even though you're crazy about this. For example, you want to be a writer in Czech Republic. You can be mad great writer, but it doesn't generate you money, you see, like a byproduct. So of course 40% of billionaires and multimillionaires are recruited or come from the real estate. For real estate you need a capital. I show you how to get a capital. The most simple way how to get the capital is you go to the bank, you bring them very good business plan. And bankers are just human beings. Let's say you find some building which is abandoned, which is for sale, and which is in a really dilapidated state or situation. Well, what you gonna do with this? You make some project. So you bring the perfect business plan project on one building which is in very dilapidated state, and you tell the banker, I make it work, I just need your loan, I just need a loan. Or you bring it to some rich person, you say, look, this is it. Or you take some real estate thing which is expensive and you go either to private sources or to banks and ask the money. But the key thing is the very perfect business plan. It must be really unshootable. Yeah. So then there are other ways. For example, you can rob a bank with your brain. You don't need to rub it with the machine gun. And don't you forget that the very weak point of every bank is the human factor. It's a banker. Bankers are paid by commission, and they always are able somehow to change the business plan or sex up the numbers. So don't you forget that if you should really make a contact with some people in your career, it's bankers. All around the world where you go, talk to bankers. Of course, don't meet them at the bank. Meet them after they close for dinners and, or in strip bars or for cappuccino. Meet them like, again, your friends, and look at them like a human beings. You have to learn the language who everybody understood, who everybody understands. If you learn the secret language, which everyone knows all around the world, if you break the code, you make a lot of money. You see? You can speak 4 or 5 languages. You can speak French, you can speak Spanish, you can speak English, you can speak Czech, you can speak Italian. But if you don't know the language, which people use all around the world, and it's not non-verbal communication, it's just a joke, right? The language inside, then good luck to make a money. You see, you need to know what people want. To make somebody do what you want him to do is not to ask yourself or how to make him to do it, how to make the banker, how to convince him to give me the loan, how to convince this rich person to give me the money. You have to ask, as Niccolo Machiavelli says, why they should do it. Again, motive. Motive is a very important thing. So once the people have a motive to do it, which is connected to the inner language, then you have a leverage again. That's called a psychological capital, my friend. You don't need the money. Yeah, you can have some kind of psychological slash geographical capital, right? That you change the country, as I told you, and that's how it is, right on. Then there is this very spread idea that perfect, my friend. Look delicious.
Cappuccino.
Gracias.
Nice. Okay.
It was very good. I like the pumpkin one. It's my
pumpkin?
favorite.
Yeah. Perfect, Mr. If you need another else, no.
No,
do it the same,
thank
okay?
you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
So, don't you forget, a lot of people say, is it possible I become rich after 40 years old? Like, a lot of people cannot become rich. You have to be... there is a widespread idea, very wrong one, that you can become rich only, you can make it until you are 38, 39, then you have no chance. No, it's bullshit. You can become rich anytime. And then there is another very wrong spread idea that you have to work hard to become rich. No, it's not true as well. That's what Belfort says. You know, if you find a trick how to do it, if you have a talent, you know, the skills, some range of skills or collection of skills is a talent, and a collection of the talent is a geniality. You see, if you have a talent, and if you work smart but not hard, of course you need to do some genuine work. Okay, even the criminals have to work. You know, there is no difference between the CEO of some company and the leader, a narco trafficker who is leading the cartel. It's same things. You know, you have to take care about prices, distributions, just CEOs trying to find the tax system, and you know, gangsters as well. So then there is this thing with morality. Yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I admit that most people I saw get rich by some dirty tricks. But on the other hand, I met a lot of people who didn't. You know, because when you generous and when you have your reputation, you know, and when you never fuck your client over, that's some value which growing with you, and people always coming back to it. It's a cliche, but it's true. So that's something which is shining from you. And when you're not stingy, you know, greedy with money, when you're generous especially, when you, for example, say, look, it's okay, you owe me the $1,000, keep it, it's okay. Then the word spreads around, be generous, give a big tips. If you have the money, give it to people, you know, be generous. Even though you're starting, and people, there is this stupid idea that fanatic saver become rich. That's true, but it's awful way how to do it. You know, like Warren Buffett, like you have to drive the car which is cheap, and you have to live in the. Yeah, of course. You know, you decide what you wanna spend your money for. Is it for fucking clothes or first class tickets or shits like that, or hotels? You know, but when you're generous, it always come back to you. You see. So be smart, be generous, be a little bit motherfucker, break the rules. Oh my god, break the law even. And the morality, I would tell you one thing. I tell you something which is really scandalous, which is outrageous, but in my opinion, morality is a byproduct of civilization. You know, people for some reason, not for some reason, for certain reason, decided to start, you know, to gather in groups in some villages, towns, and states, and then once they decided to be together, the civilization gotta work in the town where you live. You cannot just go like in the previous situation when we were in the groups of 100 always, because until now you have 100 friends around you or 100 contacts, because nature tells you that to be in the group of 100 is not too much to catch someone's attention, some predator, once you are in savannas or in jungle, like before we were half monkeys, right? And on the other hand, it's not just little, yeah, it's just a very appropriate number where people can survive in wild times, and they can survive and protect themselves from predators and hunt the food. So 100 was ideal group for people to keep alive. Yeah, 2, 3, 400 was too much. 20, 30 was not enough, was not sufficient. But after people start to, we're talking about 2 million years or 1 million years before Christ, then thousands, 100,000 years before, people start to gathering themselves, and there was some culture starting, and then in these settlements like old Rome or old Greeks or Mesopotamia, or they say that the Euphrates and Tigris is the oldest one, there gotta be some rules. So before, in this group of 100, the 47% people somehow died, and the first number one purpose of the death, cause of the death, was a murder. So you can see it in these indigenous tribes, like in Brasilia or somewhere, where people just murdering themselves, the animals. So this idealistic bullshit, like they are peaceful, this indigenous people, it's, of course, it's bullshit. They are very violent and immoral people from our viewpoint. I don't think so they're immoral, I will get to it, but you can see they are very immoral. There are a lot of wars which started, they kidnap just the woman because they don't want to get degenerated. So there are rules that sometimes they have to swap the women from the other tribes, not to carry the bad genes. And once they kidnap the woman, then the fights and the war starts between the tribes, and you can see people treating each other like animals, beating each other to head with stones, and you can see a lot of bad things there, and the cruelty, because these people are some kind of a tribe and they living like 100,000 years before Christ. But once people start to gather themselves, and there was some beginning of some civilization. It was like 10 or 15,000 years before Christ, if I'm not wrong. I mean, like, we're starting 200,000-300,000 years before Christ or whatever. We can see that there are some rules in the society, not like in these times of being a savage. One of the rules is you don't steal something from other guy, or you don't kill the person, because if you live in the society or in some group of people where people killing each other, it's non-functional. But this is the moral. It's just a byproduct of civilization. We don't kill each other, we don't steal from each other, because we taught by civilization we cannot do this, because otherwise we cannot function in society. People who are non-functional are in jails. Okay. Now the question is, isn't it just a social construction? When you're a little kid, do you know how it is? You 2, 3, 4 years old kid, you take a stone, you throw it into the face of some other kid. You don't get punished, right? You are a kid. You don't go to jail in age of 2 or 3, right? Because you don't have a super ego. You have just the ego, and the moral system starting to be developed around 11, 12 years old. When you're 11, 12 years old. That's why a lot of criminals are infantile people, and a lot of narcissists are people like age of 13, 14. because they don't have this moral sense. Yeah. But we can see, we have this schmuck Piaget, this Swiss psychologist, but I don't buy it. I think it's just a byproduct. And actually what they say in Harvard, it's true. On the first lesson of ethic, they telling you the law is a minimum of moral. And imagine you growing up, they teach you not to steal in supermarket, not to beat your classmates, right on. And why they doing it? Because that's the rules of the society which can smoothly function, right on. Otherwise it won't function. But is it because you should not do it because it's wrong? Okay, it's wrong. Like a fucking Immanuel Kant, this little Kant. Don't do other people where you don't want you to. You do they what they do to you. You don't do them what you don't want them to do to you. This guy he was an idiot, right? Obviously you're living in society where you don't doing things to other people, but they doing it to you, right? You can be a maverick or saint, and they will fuck you up, everybody, because you're weak. You see the emotions and this evolutionary spirit it's in us, you cannot suppress it. Yeah, we so-called civilize ourselves, but I still believe that if I'm born in some tribe, I'm okay to kill somebody from another tribe, you see. And you say these people are immoral. From our viewpoint they are immoral, but it's just a collection of rules, it's a subjectivity, you see. It's just a thing which is implemented in your brain and use the system against you. The system is fucking with you because elites and people who control this world constantly creating the rules which they themselves breaking, you see. So what I see more like a moral thing is a loyalty. Be loyal. According to stupid civilization, you don't need to be loyal. You don't need to be moral, but you can be loyal. Criminals, gangsters, mafia, they're loyal people, but they're not moral, you see. So if I give you my word, I will never fuck you over and I always stay behind your back. I'm a loyal person. But if you do some bad things, like you kill 5 people or steal a couple of $100 million, and I'm still behind you and protecting you and helping you, I'm becoming an immoral person. But I'm a loyal person. And I think the loyalty is the highest value you can achieve. And being a good or moral, you have to define the good and morality. There is being moral, good, it's a different things, like, you can question a lot of things actually. I think it's for another discussion, but just shortly, you really take seriously such a little comic book like this rewrite of Epos of Gilgamesh, this fucking Bible? Jesus Christ, man. Like, explain me why I cannot kill another person. Because it's immoral? And who told me it's wrong? Tell me my parents, the civilization, the people told me. My president, you believe your president? You believe your teacher? You believe your senator? You believe your mother? You believe everybody? You believe them? Cogito ergo sum. You believe them or not? I don't believe them. I think they were lying to me. They all lie. The society is built on the fucking lies and hypocrisy, you see? So, of course it's a bad thing to kill somebody, right? It's a bad thing to take somebody's life. Is it? What if we live in the world where it's just the evil? And time to time there is some light or something which is called a good. How about we all animals? We're killing each other financially, mentally, physically. We're competing. And time to time, there is some kind did some good things. You know, the people think that the world is good and it's jeopardized by evil. I think the world is evil, and time to time there is some good things. There are some good things. And it's not wrong, it's not right, it just is. It is. It is what it is. Yes? Yes, it is. Be loyal. Be loyal in life. Don't betray your friends. Okay? And have some rules. Of course, you need to have some moral rules. I don't say you don't have them. But create your own rules, not the rules of a fucking society. You hear me? If somebody deserves to die, he dies. According to your rules. Don't be afraid to create your own rules. Don't listen to people and all this crap and civilization, you know, what they telling you, who they are to tell you. They just people like you. But they are hypocrites, they think they something better, you know. Look at, for example, at this situation with cocaine, okay? Do you agree with me that in 2024, it's impossible for somebody to not to know what kind of a fabric or thing is a cocaine, and it's destructive and it has negative side effects, right? Everybody can go on Wikipedia in several countries, click twice, 3 times, and find out what is this white powder. Oh my god, it's great addiction, it's great this, that, you fucking up your dopamine. Okay, 50 years ago during the Escobar's times, or 40 years ago, I don't say, people still were discovering what is cocaine. But now you know it's a bad thing, you know. So why is it so bad to sell it to people? I don't say I'm doing it or I wanna do it, but I don't see the difference, you know. You want the poison, you get it. And you have the consequence. It's same like with alcohol. You wanna drink 5 shots, 10 shots per day, you become alcoholic. I don't like this argument, because this argument telling you if there is some bad thing, you can add another one, you know. So this is the most stupid argument in legalization, which telling you, look, people dying OD'd by alcohol, it's a hard drug, let's put heroin and cocaine as well, right? Because the alcohol is here, so we can do other things as well. But it's not the argument. You make it just worse. We know the alcohol is a bad thing, so why you wanna put other things which are worse? You know, it's an argument who says a lot of stupid people. I would put it in this way, that if we really live in some civilization and there is absolute freedom, which is another value which we haven't discussed, well, let's beat it. You want that crap, you got it. Yeah. You see? So when you look at the people who smuggling tons of cocaine and selling it, I don't think so that it's necessarily a bad thing. The bad thing is that during running this business, you're killing people, the mules, you know, carrying the product, you're exploiting people, there is a lot of violence. But like the act to sell somebody cocaine, I don't think so it's an immoral thing. It's illegal, but I don't think so it's immoral.